Well, good Monday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods. Good morning, guys, and good morning, Stuart. Before we get into everything that's going on, there's a lot of things that are happening in the NFL. I need everybody. You'll remember early part of the summer, we went down to Stuart Morrison's house. We didn't get there in time before he passed away, but his wish for us was to fix the house and take care of his mom. His mom has gotten sick. She's in the hospital right now. She's going to be getting a heart scan today. There's a lot of fluid and things, and she has double pneumonia. And just keep her in your thoughts and your prayers. We hope for her to have a speedy recovery. The family has been through so much losing Stuart this past summer, and I hope that she gets better, and definitely wishing her well. So this morning, the speculation is that today the Cowboys, even though it is the holiday weekend, and if you're going someplace, by all means, be careful out there, okay? Take your time. Arrive alive. Don't be a jackass, driving like a fool to get there 2 minutes early when you might be risking quite a few people's lives. There's so much going on, of course. The speculation is that Jason Peters will become a Dallas Cowboy today. We'll see if that happens. I'm not sure exactly how that works with this being a holiday weekend. I guess the paperwork will be fine. The Cowboys are going to have to make a transaction. Somebody's going to have to move off the practice squad for him to be able to take a place. We have no word who that might be. And, of course, they have to get the numbers to work out. And once that happens, if you think that Jason Peters is going to be starting this week, he is not. And they're actually looking at him to be a swing tackle, to really take care of somebody if they fall. If Tyler Smith is overwhelmed and needs to get a game or two to step back and get his bearings back together, or if somebody else gets hurt, heaven forbid, let's pray that that doesn't happen. But they're going to take him and put him on practice squad, and they're going to ramp him up to get him in shape. They're not going to just throw him to the wolves, not knowing the playbook and not necessarily being in football shape. Thing was, he ended up admitting on Sirius Radio that he was hoping for one last chance, one last go-round, and that he was working out to get better and stay in shape in case that opportunity came and presented itself. And it has now presented itself. So that's where we are with that. We'll keep the watch out for Jason Peters to get together. Now, here's an interesting take for me personally here. We're always told that Dak sucks. Dak's not the guy. Or when the Cowboys are successful, it's because he's got all of these great pieces around. Well, for whatever reason, it seems like over the last couple of years, the Dallas Cowboys have been completely deconstructed on offense. Amari Cooper's gone. Cedric Wilson's gone. Jason Witten aged out. Tyron Smith can't stay healthy. Lyle Collins is gone. Connor Williams is gone. We have a very, very young team right now. We have actually one of the third youngest team currently in the NFL. I don't know if that'll change with Jason Peters. He may skew the number a point or two. But you get the gist of it. We are in a transition period. We're no longer the Great Wall of Dallas 2. We now are no longer the best wide receiver core, in the NFC East, possibly, or, well, definitely not in the NFC. A running back is thought to be old and basically shot, as a lot of people say. So if the Cowboys offense, doesn't go from first to worst, if the Cowboys offense is still a top 10, does your perception of Dak Prescott with all of these issues change for the Dak Prescott haters? Because basically we've heard every talking head, even now Marcus Spears is now on the Philadelphia Eagles bandwagon. If the offense is successful, will Dak Prescott actually get the credit, or will he just be that stacked guy, as that people will put it? That's where we'll have to go with this. To me, Dak Prescott is the wild card that should give you hope when you look at the quarterbacks in our division. I know people in Washington think Carson Wentz is the answer. We'll see. We'll see if the change of scenery for the third time makes a difference. But let's go to this morning to Get Up and listen to them about what they think is going to happen with the NFC East.
Season starts, and he's talking about, I want to burn it into their mind, but I'm not going to dwell on it. Oh, yes, you are. He's going to be in front of the camera, and he's going to say it every time something goes awry. I'm dwelling on it. We have to win, Mike McCarthy, or trouble is on the horizon.
That is what Swagoo says. Let's see what Mike T and Diana. Diana, I see you nodding along. What do you think about the Cowboys and their coach heading into week 1?
I'm just laughing because I feel like I should be the northerner to translate the southern accent, right? Southerners say things so nicely. I feel like I just need to say it the way I say it in Jersey, which is, you better freaking win, right? You better win or you're going to the dumpster. Because that's how I hear it. Swagoo's got his thing, but this is how we say it up here in Jersey, right? Like, because the reality is Mike McCarthy's been given an opportunity here to go out and win. Jerry has done a fantastic job in the draft over the last few seasons, giving him players. Let's just even discuss this offensive line situation, right? Because let's just face it, that's the headline right now with, we know, Tyron Smith being out here and Tyler Smith, the rookie, who Jerry drafted knowing that they've got to bolster this offensive line. He's dealing with some injuries. We know Jason Peters, the Eagle Great, is going to be coming in to visit with the Dallas Cowboys to hopefully give them something as they try to sort this out. But Jerry's done his job. It's now time for Mike McCarthy to step up before Sean Payton walks in the star and says, hey, I'm here.
That's right. Look, I mean, between Sean Payton and Dan Quinn and Kellen Moore, there were a lot of coaches in waiting in Dallas. But, oh, by the way, there's a season before we get to that. Mike T, what do you think? How do we feel? You have been sort of steadfast on the Cowboys bandwagon this entire way. Mike Tannenbaum, how do you feel this morning?
I feel the same. I think we're going to prevent Mike McCarthy from going to Diana's dumpster, because I think Dak Prescott is the great equalizer here. He is the best quarterback in the NFC East, and he could erase a lot of mistakes. And let's give Dallas credit in all seriousness. They did draft Tyler Smith in the first round, knowing that Tyron Smith has had injury problems. So if they could just hold serve early, Greeny, meaning get off to a decent start, they are going to get Michael Gallup back. Tony Pollard needs to touch the ball more. Dalton Schultz is back. And CeeDee Lamb has the ability to be a number 1. So if Dak Prescott can carry this team, which I believe he can, and Coach McCarthy is even average on penalties, they will win this division.
And just as a quick final thought, Marcus, I said this yesterday, if the Cowboys are going to be there at the end of the season, and they certainly have a chance to be, I think it's going to be because Dak Prescott is in the MVP conversation. I think he will have to play that well, and I think he's capable of it, in order for this team to be where they want to be at the end of the year. To me, it's all about the quarterback, Marcus.
Absolutely right, G. And listen, we have these conversations about this offense, and we could talk about CeeDee Lamb and all of the weapons and Zeke. This is going to come down to this offensive line and Dak Prescott, because I do feel like Dallas is still going to have a top-tier defense, which we don't talk about much, which will be, I believe, the strongest unit of this team. But it's going to be on Dak Prescott. But we've seen quarterbacks with O-line questions who are really good struggle. So hopefully they get that thing fixed up front. But I'm nervous as hell. I ain't gonna act like I ain't this morning on Get Up, and I'm not gonna act like I'm not going into the first week of the season looking at who they have to protect Dak Prescott from when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Look, I mean, something, whether you're in the north or the south, you understand exactly what he's saying, and I think a lot of Cowboys fans feel that way.
All right, so, you hear the doom and gloom, of course, that Mike McCarthy's ass is on the hot seat. It's funny because I've seen so many different things this offseason that it's actually comical when you start listening to some of the talking heads and things. It's crazy. Now, I will say this much. I was blessed to be able to go to training camp and see for myself what the Cowboys looked like. You'll remember... I remember it was Minnesota, Super Bowl in Minnesota. And if you go to the draft or different events in the NFL, they will have the NFL experience, which is a great thing to go because they've got all kinds of different setups and stuff. And I remember in Miami, they actually had a TikTok booth. This is when TikTok was just first starting out. But you've got all of the different stuff you can go ahead and be like you're an NFL player. So, you've got the jump for the draft and the 40 that you can run and everything else. And it's great seeing the kids doing things. They've got the throws and things like that, competition. And I remember David Carr, who was with NFL Network, stationed at the NFL Experience, literally at one of the throwing events, okay? And I'm sure that he had practice a little bit. Dak is in street clothes, he does an interview, and so David goes, let's get a little competition. And so people will judge that and say, oh, man, Dak is trash, man. Look, David Carr, he's a great, we should sign him. And it's like, have you ever seen David Carr actually play football? Oh, okay. Because he literally got the crap kicked out of him his first year as a starting quarterback. I think he may have had the record for being sacked. But people will take that and say, my God, that guy was so good and Dak just sucked. Well, if you want to see carnival events, this one, shout out to Miss Jackie sharing it to me last night, is spectacular on Instagram. Being in training camp, seeing Dak Prescott, seeing him being able to move, seeing how he has transformed his body. He's staying away from probably the gumbo and everything else and eating better. He's lean, he's strong, he's moving well, he's faster. He's got more zip on the ball. His mechanics are down pat. He is ready to rock and roll. And, in practice, you didn't hear a lot of bad practices from Dak Prescott. You did not. You heard about Carson Wentz having bad ones. You heard about problems with A.J. Brown and Hurts having problems. And Daniel, I don't know if we heard any good practices about Daniel Jones. He will be the deciding factor on this team. And much like they said, if they can just hold serve to get Tyler Smith's legs underneath him, and I think the thing you have to do is Kellen Moore has to be better at calling the game, understanding that we are a young offensive line. You're not going to be able to try and launch the ball deep all the time, okay? You're not going to be able to do the 3 wideouts all the time. You've got to understand that you actually need to establish the run and move the pocket around so that way the quarterback, and this is where Dak's help comes into play. But let's check this thing out. This is actually flipping amazing here because I remember being at one of the practices, at the end of practice, there's a trash can on the sideline. Dak is about at midfield, and he launches a pass up, boom, drops right in the trash can. Check this one out.
Hit the soccer ball out of the air. So let David know where you want it. Do you want it a little higher, a little faster? Yeah. It'll take a minute to see, but
I don't think so. This is a one-take thing.
One take?
You put it in the air, I'm going to do the rest.
All right. Kicks the soccer ball. Bam.
Oh!
Appreciate it. Easy.
Done.
Good warm-up.
Bam.
Done.
Let's watch that again.
The objective for you to hit
he
the
literally hit the soccer ball in there.
So
That's
let David
shooting.
know where you want it. Do you want it a little higher, a little faster? Yeah. It'll take a minute to see, but
I don't think so. This is a one-take thing.
One take?
You put it in the air, I'm going to do the rest.
All right. This is freaking amazing. Look at this shit. Bam!
Oh,
Appreciate it. Easy.
Done.
Good warm-up.
Done.
Wow. That's my quarterback. That's my teammate. And if you say anything about him, it's not fair. That was freaking amazing. Yeah. So all this doom and gloom, I didn't even read the article, but I saw there was an article in Pro Football Focus on the Dallas Cowboys site on there that literally said the Cowboys could go 6-10. I don't see how the Cowboys go 6-10 when we play the Giants, the Eagles, and Washington together. I mean, worst case, let's say we go 5-1, or let's say 4-2. You're going to tell me that through the rest of that schedule that we're only going to get 2 more wins? Seriously? Come on, guys. And instead of wasting your life and your time about what might happen, okay? Spend your time enjoying the moment. Football is 18 regular season weeks. That's it. 18 weeks. I started this clock at 130-something, which wasn't the whole offseason. Why set yourself up to be pissed off and not enjoy the season? If the Cowboys season ends up being, well, we missed the playoffs, ends up being bad, you know what? I'm happy that we got a football season. I'm happy that we got games. And I'm going to see where my Cowboys are when the dust clears. Because 4 out of the last 8 seasons, the Dallas Cowboys have been on top. The Dallas Cowboys have built themselves one of the youngest rosters in football. And not just built this roster, they actually have it built with
Thank
guys.
you for watching ESPN on YouTube for live streaming sports and premium.
Built it with young players that are going to have some issues, but they're going to get better. When I look at the Cowboys right now, I look at this and say they've got a lot more good days ahead of them, good games ahead of them than they do behind them. Over the course of the last few years, the Cowboys have gone from being one of the oldest teams to now being one of the youngest ones. The future is bright. The oldest people on the roster, I think Tyron Smith, that maybe this is the last go-round for him for this year. Maybe he comes back and he plays the swing tackle role or gets a starting role and maybe he's ready for playoffs. I don't know. But when you think that Zeke, Dak, DeMarcus Lawrence, Zach Martin are the oldest players really on the roster, other than Jason Peters, that's a good thing. Everybody else, you start thinking about Micah Parsons, who people will say has a chance at MVP for defense. It's only his second year. Diggs in his second year, 11 interceptions. This team is young, and they're hungry, and be happy about it. And before I get out of here, let's get to NFL AM with the latest on Jason Peters.
Have you covered every single day, not only this week, but this season. It's time for him to go to work. Ian, week 1. It's almost here. We're living in it now. What is the latest on Matthew Stafford's elbow ahead of Thursday night season opener? Plus, the Cowboys have some movement. They're maybe close to signing a new left tackle.
Well, Jamie, let's talk about Matthew Stafford first, because certainly this was one of the big stories of the offseason. How is Stafford's elbow dealing with thrower's elbow, which is somewhat similar to a pretty bad tendonitis? And, of course, all we wanted to know is he going to look like the regular Stafford? Well, talked to reporters recently and said he has no limitations. That is the key here, and Sean McVay kind of echoed that, saying if they needed to throw it 50 times, he would have no hesitation. So, after a spring and most of the summer of limiting Stafford's throws, making sure he did not put himself in harm's way, doing some rehab. He got a PRP injection in the spring. They have arrived at a point where Stafford believes he is going to be fine, and the Rams should be all good for week 1. They are going to have to probably manage this during the season. Meanwhile, you mentioned the Cowboys. Jason Peters, the future Hall of Famer, former Eagle star who has been searching for a team despite being about 40 years old, still wants to do it. He had a visit with the Cowboys a couple days ago. They've remained in contact. My understanding is the two sides are working toward a deal that could be done today. Now, as we've seen a lot of times over the past couple years, he is a veteran. He probably ends up starting on the practice squad, should end up working his way back into the lineup. So he lives in Texas. He wants to play one more year. The Cowboys have a serious need after the Tyron Smith injury. We could have a deal for Jason Peters today.
Okay. Could have a deal for Jason Peters today. All right, so this is the countdown. The last Monday before the season starts. Thursday night, it's on. And then come Sunday, oh, my God. Can't wait. I cannot wait. We'll be home tailgating here. And as always, I appreciate you, each and every one of you guys. We'll see you later.
Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Sports Report.